Okay, I guess we're live. So I just want to have a bit of fun here. So let me see. Here, notice that I have to flatten the angle. So instead of 45, it's going to be 30 or 20. And then I do a long stroke like that. Notice that the L is higher than the T. And italic. And here again, when I do the this part of the C, I'm gonna flatten my angle a little bit so that this part is thinner. Otherwise, if I don't do that, it's gonna look like this. And you can see that this is not very elegant. It's just a little bit too heavy at the top. So let's try Roman. So it's like this. Well, actually, Roman is not supposed to be slanted like that. It's supposed to be straight. So let me rectify that. So it's supposed to be straight like this. It's not slanted like italic. Wait a minute, it's still a little bit slanted. So let me correct that. Like that. And then we do the perfect. Now the difficulty with the Roman style is, for me, it's the O, because it's kind of like, so you have to visualize the O. So 1 2 3 4 5 6. So it's gonna be, so you have to visualize it, and you have to make sure that it's really round. It's not quite perfect, but see, like here, it's not quite perfect. So let me try again. I haven't done Roman for a long time, so that's my excuse. Yeah, it's better. And you can see that let's say the center point is here. You can see that if you draw a line, it's you know, it's like a mirror. So this side is the flip side of that side. So this is like the axis. So you can see that the Roman O is not is rounder than the italic O. The italic O, I'm just gonna write it here, is more like an oval. It's more like this. And you can see that this is the pivot line, if you will. All right. Let me try to have a bit of, well, actually I'm going to continue with this broad edge pen. This is 5 millimeters, so that's quite big. And when you're a beginner, the bigger the edge, the better, the more control, so that you see what you're doing wrong. But once again, you want to have the right body height. So for italic, it's always about 5 widths, right? So this should be the width of italic. So for example, if you do the E, it would be like that. So that's the right height. If you do the N, be like that. If you do the, let's say the A, or the C. That. There you go. Now I'm gonna try something because this is a freestyle. So you'll notice that my pen angle is going to change depending on my mood, depending on my spontaneity. So it starts at 45 degrees, right? So this is 45 degrees. And it's gonna change depending on how I feel. So here, for example, it's gonna be 20 degrees, right? And it goes to 45, and then it goes back to 20 or even 10 degrees. So you can see that this is very interesting. It's very stylistic. It's not as predictable as the typical eye. Here the angle is always the same. It's always 45 degrees. But here it's 20, and then it's 45, and then it goes back to 10, right? Notice that here it's 10, it's not 20. Okay, so this ability to change the angle, I mean, it's really for advanced calligraphers, but you know, once you have that kind of control of the angle, then you can do this kind of spontaneous stylistic variation. So here we can even add a flourish where I do something like this. So this would be the eye, but it has a very nice flourish here. And notice here I didn't apply the full 5 millimeters. I think I just applied like the right hand side, and that's why this part is a little bit thin, because if I had applied the full width of 5 millimeters, it would be something like this. See, so it would be much thicker than this one. So this one I just used like half the rightmost half, right? So let me do it again like this. That's why it's so thin, right? Because I just applied half. And this is, I think, something that you can do with felt tip pens, but it's more difficult to do with a metal nib like this one, because if you do just half, you might break or you might damage the metal nib. But with a felt tip pen, they have a certain flexibility, let's say. So that's the eye. Even with a letter like, let's say the O, which is like this, you can add some variation. Now I'm going to change the angle to 20, and then I'm going to go like this. See? And once again, I didn't apply the full 5 millimeters. I just applied the rightmost part. So the part over there, the rightmost part, not the left part. And let me try something else. When you do the crossbar on the T, that's a very interesting one. So the T is going to be like this, and so now instead of 45, I'm going to change, because the T you have to change to about 20, and then I'm going to go to 0, and then I'm going to do this, right? But this, it looks like a little bit too thin, so you want to amend it a little bit, and you know, you want to color. I mean, this might be a bit tedious, so what you want to do is try to do it in one shot. So I'm going to try again, but in one shot. Okay, there you go. So it's a little bit better. I still have to fix it here like that. But when you have a flourish like this at the end, you know, it's better that it be thinner, you know, like the branches of a tree. Okay. Same thing when you, let's say you end with the letter N like this, right? And then you can do a flourish like that. Okay. And sometimes you have to fix, because You have to fix this part a little bit. So now it looks pretty good. So you can see that italic, you know, like the variations are infinite, which is why italic is probably the most popular calligraphy style, and you see that often in Hallmark greeting cards. Okay, so let me continue. The the G is a candidate for breathtaking flourishing. So for example, the G is going to be something like this, right? But now, well, let's close the loop. But now we can really, I'm running out of ink, but you can see that, you know, this is very beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful to look at, but when you actually do it, it feels amazing. Now, if you want to add some compositional balance, then if there's an H here, okay, if there's an H, then you want to do the same thing, but on the other side. So it would look like something like this, right? I'm running out of space, but ideally this flourishing at the top, the ascender flourishing, should be like a mirror reflection of the descender flourishing. It's a little bit small because I ran out of space, but ideally it should be the same. So if you had, you know, it's like this is a reflection of this one. Well, not exactly a reflection, but it should have the same composition. So one loop, two loops, three loops. So 1, 2, 3. It should have 3 loops. And if you want to make it even more fancy, let's say you have the letter I here. You can add something like this, you know, like that. But this is not very good because you can see that, you know, this flourishing should go over here, because here there's too much space, and here looks a little bit crowded. So usually when I do flourishing, I do it in pencil, because, you know, when I do a pencil, I can, you know, plan for the composition, and when it looks right, I just erase the pencil markings, and I do it for real. So let's see what else we can do. Let's say the italic capitals. Okay, so you have the A, which is like this, and here you can go all the way down, right? So this is not a normal A. A normal A is more like this, right? This is a normal A. So this A is going, let's say, beyond the Call of Duty. It's going, you know, it's really going places. And then we have the same thing here. And here the ending, it looks a little bit light, so you want to add a little bit of weight to it. And nowadays, you know, you can do this with a computer. So what I would do is that I would scan this, and then I would add these final touches using a software program like Artflow, which I use on my Samsung tablet. But you know, just for fun, you can do it with a pencil. But don't be afraid to play around, because you can always scan this part and you can erase this part, and you can fix it later on in a software program, a graphic design software program. Of course, we need to have the flourishing here. So there we go. So you can see that, you know, italic is very, very beautiful. It's a style that came into being during the Italian Renaissance. So the Italians are very good with design, art, and beauty. You got to give it to them. Okay, so I'm gonna end this session. So I hope you had fun, and I'll see you in